When trying to get people across the world to communicate dates with one another, one big problem stands out: 12 versus 24 hours. Why is 12 versus 24-hour timekeeping so divisive globally, and why are days even split by 12 to begin with? Most of this comes from how ancient the practice of trying to keep time is, and how relatively recently we've been able to do it efficiently. The Egyptians were the first to use crude sundials to track the course of the sun throughout the day. They also used a duodecimal system or a base 12 system for counting. Many ancient civilizations liked the divisibility of 12 and the ease of counting by hand. The ease of counting by hand by using the 3 digits of each finger. Sorry, thumb. This base 12 system is why the day is divided into 12 parts. Of course, dividing the daylight into 12 parts meant that the length of an hour would vary greatly by the time of the year. If we account for the non-sundial friendly night as well, then we see where the 24 hours for a day comes from. As our technology continued to increase, having a time system that was based off of guessing the time relative to midday became inefficient as we started to do more nautical plotting, train scheduling, or interstellar travel. So the length of a second needed to be standardized. This was accomplished with the help of a little bit of cesium, and more recently, lasers. Pew, 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 pew. As precise as the system is now, the Earth's orbit is not nearly as uniform, and that's why about 8 minutes of every decade get an extra leap second to account for this discrepancy. So now we have our time scale. Let's look at the way that the world represents it. First, we can thank the Brits and their fondness for colonization for much of the 12-hour supporters, even though the Brits themselves have actually been moving towards the 24-hour system. Some countries recognize both 12 and 24, mostly using the 12-hour for conversation and 24 for scheduling. And we see once again that Canada didn't pick a side and decided to try to be everyone's friend. The rest of the world has landed on the 24-hour system, which is extremely useful for avoiding most timekeeping confusion. 24-hour time is much easier to calculate duration since it's a straight relational difference. It abandons the superfluous AM/PM monikers for differentiating the morning or evening, and best of all, the 24-hour system doesn't pretend that 12 equals 0. The reason that 12-hour countries rely on the terms noon or midnight is because there is still a lot of confusion and debate regarding how to properly portray those times. We have issues like when the day reads as 12 hours before midday at the start, but changes to 1 hour since midnight. The time in which a day starts is much clearer in the 24-hour system. The same problem for the 12-hour system occurs at noon in regards to the AM/PM transition. This confusion is why many interfaces sidestep how they convey an all-day event. With the 24-hour system, absolutes can be used, and while the end of one day and the start of another occur at the exact same instant, we have enough context to infer which side of the instant is being referenced. This is something that's extremely ambiguous in the 12-hour system, as midnight Saturday can be confused as the Saturday that starts at midnight or the midnight that occurs at the end of a Saturday. We still have a long way to go towards standardizing the way we convey the concept of time, but hopefully these concepts and talking points gave a good heads up on the perils that we face and why they exist. Thanks for joining us on this little tangent. The next Universal Interfaces video will deal with conveying time and time zones to a global audience. But the fundamental 12 versus 24-hour difference was way too much fun to explore, so that's why we made this instead of leaving it as a side note in the interface video. To make sure that you're notified when the next video comes out, please subscribe to this channel. And if you enjoyed this brief explanation on the mess that we found ourselves in, give us a like as well, and leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.